Lotte Duty Free Guam is gearing up to take over the specialty retail concessions at the Guam International Airport Authority. The takeover is set to happen on July 21st. But DFS Group, that has held the contract for years, isn't backing down on its protest of the award to Lotte. The company has filed 3 protests with the airport as well as a lawsuit in the Superior Court. Each includes allegations of improper contacts, efforts to influence the airport board, and an alleged flawed procurement process. Just this week, Lotte fired back with allegations of its own, raising concern with DFS's inclusion of Apple iPads in their proposals. Attorney Bill Blair says the iPads weren't a gift, but simply part of the proposal materials to showcase the fly-throughs or animated tour of the new concession space, as his client believes the quality of the presentation was best viewed on an iPad.
So the notion that that was given as a gift to the individual members of the evaluation team is just false, simply plainly false. DFS started doing that kind of a presentation with airport tenders they've done in other places, and it's become kind of a standard tool they use to use that medium to present their fly-throughs.
Attorney Blair says they weren't returned because the iPads became the airport's property, as the RFP states that all proposal materials would not be returned. DFS's proposal came in these elaborate boxes topped with stained glass art to set them apart from other bidders. But Lotte's attorney Cesar Cabot isn't so convinced.
I don't think you can equate a $10 binder with a $600 Apple iPad. When you go through the RFP that was issued by the airport, it specifically provides that all bidders shall provide 7 copies, hard copies of their proposal to the airport, along with a CD. So a compact disc that costs about $2 or $10. On the other hand, you have a $600 Apple iPad. I just don't buy that argument, quite frankly.
Then there's dispute over claims that Lotte changed their original proposal after the other bids had been submitted.
We learned that Lotte had in its original proposal included items that were not called for by the RFP. Nice stuff, mind you. And that when they had their subsequent after they made their proposal, there was an interview with the evaluation committee. They provided they made the changes to their proposal and offered the airport additional items.
Lotte only submitted 1 bid. The minimum annual guarantee rent was $13 million. The $15.4 million number, just as we've always been saying, derived and generated from our initial proposal.
Cabot wants it to be clear, though, that Lotte scored highest on 4 out of the 5 criteria in the RFP, only coming in 3rd in the annual rent and projected sales category.
But overall, considering these 5 evenly weighted categories, Lotte was the overall highest scored by the 4 evaluators.
Cabot says once the company was deemed the most qualified bidder, the airport was obligated to derive optimum revenue for the people of Guam and did so during negotiations. As for claims that DFS has diverted revenues from its airport store to its downtown store to avoid paying higher rent, Attorney Blair questioned what evidence Lotte had to make such a claim.
I think it's very important that we try to ratchet down the rhetoric. This matter has been filed before the Superior Court. I believe DFS knows exactly what we mean, and this issue we will engage this issue as one of the many things we do before a court of law.
The parties, meanwhile, wait to duke it out in court, but are waiting to see what judge will be assigned the case. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Mindy Egan.